Hello, everyone. Welcome to the session. Let's just give it another moment or two as we still have folks joining us. Great to see so many of you with us already. Wishing everyone a fantastic Wednesday, wherever you may be logging in from. Before we kick off, just some quick housekeeping notes. Everyone is in listen-only mode. And for questions, please use the Q&A function at the bottom of your webinar interface, and we'll summarize questions and address as many as possible at the end. Please also note we are recording this webinar, and we will share the recording link with you after the meeting. So if you need to step away or leave early, no worries, we have you covered. Just look for the email with a link in your inbox very soon. For the presentation today, we have enabled Zoom's AI captioning. You may see that at the bottom of your screen. It may not be perfect in capturing everything we talk about, but we will make any necessary updates to hiccups in the transcripts before releasing the recording to you. So again, for those of you just joining us, welcome. Looks like we are a few minutes after 1, so let's go ahead and get started. Thank you for joining us for FASEB Catalyst Conference's Become an Organizer. My name is Andrea Bauerfeind, Director of the FASEB Office of Scientific Meetings and Conferences. I will lead you through the webinar. With me today is my colleague Ying Zhu, who is helping me with the operations behind the scenes. And to make sure we are not taking too much time out of your day, we promise to keep it to a compact 30 minutes. To see who we have in the room, we're going to put up a quick poll. We would like to hear from you what your experience is organizing and why you have joined us today. Ying, would you please launch our first poll of the day? Great, thank you. So on your screen, you will see a question about your level of experience in organizing, and we ask you to put your answers in now. You may be a pro with many conferences under your belt. You may have been part of a committee or in a supporting role, but not really the lead. You've never done it, but you definitely would like to learn more. Other as an option, or perhaps you do not wish to answer. So I see those responses already coming in. I'm just going to give it another moment or two before I go ahead and close it. Okay, seems to have slowed down, so I'll go ahead and end the poll. And I'm sharing the results with you now. So it looks like the majority of the individuals are novice. Welcome. We're very excited to have you today. And a good portion of the attendees today have organized a conference or have been in a supporting role. Perfect. Let's do another one. We would like to know from you why you're here today. Ying, could you launch that second poll, please? Thank you. So you're interested in organizing, but are not sure how to get started or what it exactly entails. You already have a topic in mind, but are just not sure if anyone would attend a discussion on the topic. You really want to organize, but just can't invest a huge amount of time right now, or you just found the webinar topic enticing and you want to listen in. As before, you have an other or do not wish to answer as options, and feel free to select as many as apply. All right, so this time the answers came in much quicker. Let me go ahead and end that poll. And just like before, I'll share the results. Interested in organizing but don't know how to get started is our top response, just followed by webinar topic sounded interesting. Okay. Well, I think based on what we just saw in those polls, we have something for everyone as we tell you more about FASEB's new initiative, the Catalyst Conferences. In a nutshell, the Catalyst conferences are short, virtual meetings on biomedical or biological topics designed to accelerate topic discovery, community development, and career growth. Here's an outline of what we will cover over the next 20 minutes or so, with the last 10 minutes for Q&A at the end. First, a quick introduction to FASEB for those of you who may not be as familiar with who we are. Then we'll briefly touch on the benefits, but also the challenges of what it means to be the lead on organizing a conference program. We'll provide a summary of the Catalyst conference concept and give an overview of the potential growth path for these types of meetings. Next, we'll cover what the level of commitment would be from your side if you decide to participate, and then outline the details of each Catalyst conference level before reaching a full-fledged conference stage. At the end, my colleague Ying will help me field any questions and also provide contact information for you to connect with us about Catalyst conferences. First, a very brief overview of FASEB. So founded in 1912, it's FASEB's mission to advance health and well-being by promoting research and education in biological and biomedical sciences through collaborative advocacy and service to our societies and their members. With 29 member societies and representing 130,000 researchers from around the world, FASEB is the nation's largest coalition of biomedical researchers. For our conversation today, I would like to highlight that FASEB has been facilitating and managing dozens of scientific meetings annually for 40 years. And what makes our scientific meetings special is that our conference programs are completely volunteer run, while FASEB provides the operations and infrastructure for the events. Of course, you may be familiar with FASEB's publications, such as the FASEB Journal or FASEB Bioadvances, or may have heard or even been part of our science policy and advocacy efforts. So the big question on everyone's mind, why organize a scientific meeting? You're probably joining us today because you have toyed with the idea about putting together a scientific conference, or at least proposing a few sessions, but we're not ready for a big time commitment. Maybe you did not feel ready for the fundraising expectations that usually come along with holding a larger conference. Perhaps you're still building your own scientific network, or just have an emerging or niche topic idea that you want to test or want to build a community around. Whatever the reason that brought you here today, we understand that organizing a conference can be extremely rewarding, but is also a huge lift, demanding your time and support over months, if not years. Simply the idea of organizing a conference or workshop may seem quite overwhelming if you're just starting out. So what if you could do it on a smaller scale, with less stress and a limited time commitment? Well, then the Catalyst conferences may be just a really good fit for you. What exactly are they, these Catalyst conferences that I've been talking about? Catalyst conferences are half-day virtual programs on biomedical or biological topics. As mentioned, they are designed to accelerate topic discovery, community development, and career growth. Organizing scientists choose their topic, they recruit a handful of speakers, and can bring the research in front of an audience in as little as a few weeks. Catalyst conferences take place between the months of October and April, have little to no fundraising requirements, and best of all, participation in a Catalyst conference is either free or has only a nominal fee for the attendees, but more on that later. Long term, once you have vetted your topic and established a following, the Catalyst conference can provide a growth path for your topic to become a full-fledged conference. Now let's take a look at the stages of the Catalyst conferences. The Catalyst Conference's growth path. Catalyst conferences start at an entry level with a half-day virtual program and then progress to the advanced level that features 2 days of half-day programming. And at its final stage, the path provides an opportunity for application as a full-fledged conference to the FASEB Science Research Conference series. I'll explain the entry level and advanced level of the Catalyst conferences in detail in just a minute. However, I do want to stress at this point that organizing a Catalyst conference is not a prerequisite for application to FASEB's science research conferences. Catalyst conferences aim to enable scientists to vet topics, grow their community, and sharpen their organizing skills step by step. Hence, Catalyst conferences are designed as a growth path that allows researchers to gradually increase their level of commitment to organizing. If you're ready now and want to learn more about applying to the science research conferences directly, just drop me a line after the webinar or add a comment in the Q&A, and I'm happy to connect with you directly. With this very rough overview of the Catalyst conferences, you may now think, so far, this looks pretty good, but what workload can I expect should I commit to organizing a Catalyst conference? Here's an outline of tasks that comes with running a Catalyst conference. The list looks quite short, but I promise that's pretty much it. First, you would tell us about your Catalyst idea with a proposed title and a quick 1 to 2 sentence summary description. That will tell us and your audience what your Catalyst conference is all about. Then, pick a date for your conference. We recommend Wednesdays, as that date traditionally has a high attendance for online trainings and webinars. FASEB plans to schedule Catalyst conferences October through April as not to fall within our science research conference season that's traditionally in the warmer months of the year. Next, please send us your bio to learn more about you and for posting on the Catalyst conferences listing on the FASEB website. You'd build out the Catalyst conference program by inviting about 5 speakers, so perhaps a keynote and 4 presenters. We'll take a look at a draft agenda in the next slide so you get a better visual on what an agenda could look like. And on the day of the conference, you'll be leading through the program as chair. From the FASEB side, we will add your event listing to our Catalyst conference website, provide a sign-up mechanism for the conference, and take care of the event technology. We'll conduct dry runs with you and the speakers as needed, so you can strictly concentrate on your program design and the discussions around the event. Remember a few slides back, I talked about entry-level and advanced-level catalysts. Here are more details on the entry level. The entry level will feature a half-day virtual program as discussed previously. If you take a look at the sample agenda to the right of the slide, you will see that means approximately 4 to 5 speakers over the course of an afternoon. A modest program during this level allows you complete flexibility to experiment with a new emerging research area while getting your feet wet with some basic organizing skills. The entry level has free admission to all participants. On this level, we hope to attract at least 100 people and provide you with a following around your research area. Not every catalyst will be a hit the first time around, and that's okay. If you'd like, you can plan another catalyst conference around the same topic, perhaps change your program a bit within a 12-month period, or decide not to proceed. However, if your Catalyst conference reaches that magic mark of 100 attendees, you will proceed to the advanced level. The advanced level is actually very similar to the entry level in its structure. Instead of a half-day program, however, your program now spans 2 half-days. Again, you can see the sample agenda to the right of the screen. With 2 days, 2 half days, you would double the number of speakers to about 8 to 10. And since this is the next stage on your path to a larger conference and a higher level of commitment, there is a nominal fundraising goal of $500. With more extensive planning, attendees will be asked for a modest registration fee to offset some of the operating expenses of running the webinar. Admission for attendees is $50, and for students it will be $25. However, should your fundraising efforts reach $5,000, even an advanced level Catalyst conference will have complimentary registration for everyone. So just a little incentive, or better yet, reward for outstanding fundraising efforts. Attendance goal is 125, so again, just a little step up from the entry level. And like the entry level, if your event does not meet the goals of the advanced level, this is not the end of the road for you. If you'd like, you can plan another advanced level Catalyst on the same topic within a 12-month period. Should your advanced level Catalyst excel, and we certainly hope it does, we will encourage you to submit an application to the Science Research Conference program. So now that you have 2 levels of Catalyst conferences under your belt, you have your sea legs in organizing. You created a following in the scientific community, you developed a potential speaker pool, you may already have been approached by others to join your organizing team. Now you're ready to make that commitment to a full-fledged conference, such as a FASEB Science Research Conference. As you can see on the slide, an application as SRC is peer-reviewed by an advisory committee and provides an opportunity for a substantial conference program, including posters. All scientific aspects of an SRC, fundraising, and peer-to-peer outreach are driven by the organizers themselves, so a much higher level of commitment and work involved than during the first stages of the Catalyst conference. For the SRCs, FASEB manages site selection, contracting, marketing, grant writing support, and all operations. But I do want to stress this one more time. Organizing Catalyst conferences are not a prerequisite for application to a full conference. Organizers can always apply to the FASEB Science Research Conference program directly. Actually, we do receive applications from new groups wishing to join the SRC program immediately. In fact, we just received a 2022 conference application from such a group that would like to hold a Catalyst this season and next season until their larger meeting in 2022 to build a community and engage an audience until its very first SRCs with FASEB. All in all, the Catalyst conferences are intended to provide a growth path leading into full-fledged conference, but they are not a prerequisite to an SRC. To tie it all together, I'm sharing with you the growth path slide one more time. As you have heard in these past minutes, this step-by-step approach to scientific meetings offers opportunities to everyone interested in organizing. Maybe you don't have the time to build a larger program, or you're just starting out. The Catalyst conferences allow you to become engaged. They will build interest and a following in your area of research and create the long-term opportunity to grow your program. Catalyst conferences are designed to provide a platform for novice and seasoned organizers to explore new topics and share science quickly with short-term commitment and limited risks. So this concludes the official part of our webinar, and are happy to answer questions at this point. Should we not be able to address your questions right away, or you have questions at a later time, please reach out to us. The address is meetings@faseb.org. Ying, I know you've been monitoring the Q&A. Could you share what type of questions have come in so far? And perhaps if you could group them a bit, that allows us to address more questions at the same time.
Sure. Thank you, Andrea, for the presentation. We have received some great questions from the audience, and I will try my best to group them, and hopefully we'll get through as many as possible. So the first question is, what topics are suitable for submission?
Yeah, that's a quick answer. Any topics in biological and biomedical sciences that are cross-disciplinary in nature. As you can see from our website, FASEB's education offerings cover quite a broad range. So from cell biology and biological chemistry to genes, genomes, and genetics, metabolism, nutrition, and reproductive sciences, molecular, cellular, and developmental neuroscience, quite broad. If I had a wish list, areas that we could add more content would be around behavioral sciences, population science, genetics, public health, epidemiology, translational or clinical research. But in essence, we welcome ideas in bioscience broadly.
Great, thank you, Andrea. The next two questions are about timeline. They want to know how soon can we start a Catalyst conference? How long does it take from the moment you advertise it to the day of the meeting?
Perfect. Yeah, well, we were ready to get started, that's for sure. I think what makes the Catalyst conference special, unlike full-fledged conferences that operate on these long planning cycles, I think some of them can take upwards of 18 months, if not more, to review, plan, execute. A Catalyst conference can come together very quickly. From our side, in as little as 6 weeks, if not shorter. We could do shorter from the operations end, but would recommend at least 6 weeks to confirm speakers, getting the word out about your topic, and also give folks an opportunity to sign up for the event and save the date on their calendar. So if you're asking me for a sweet spot, I would recommend 6 weeks plus. I know our season stretches through April, so we are happy to schedule whenever, but the time frame would be around 6 weeks.
That's great to know. Thanks, Andrea. There were a couple of questions about promotion and advertising. They would like to know how will FASEB help promote their Catalyst conference. Could you share a little bit on that?
Yeah. FASEB would place all conferences on a shared website, so almost like an event listing that will feature the title, the summary description, the link to the organizer bio, and the agenda once we receive that information from you. And we certainly can add it piecemeal. We don't need to have everything right out of the gate. But that will give the conference a web presence. In addition, we'll utilize the channels that we currently utilize for our other events and create awareness of the Catalyst conference lineup through email, social media, newsletters, targeted ad placements, and such. We have direct reach to 80,000 to 90,000 scientists and many more through indirect channels. And of course, we know that you will engage your network and or your institutions as well to create interest in your Catalyst conference.
That's wonderful, thank you. The next question is, are the sessions live or pre-taped?
Yeah, that's a great question, especially as so many of us right now are attending meetings or conferences remotely. The Catalyst conferences are intended to feature live sessions to keep the audience engaged and convey the science in real time. And two, because the planning cycle is so short, there may not be enough time to pre-tape even if you wanted to. During the execution, the day off, the Catalyst conference will not be taped. So two, anyone wanting to get the science would have to join in real time. And I wanted to stress that point. We will work with your speakers and of course you in advance to make sure that everyone presenting feels comfortable doing that. Everyone presenting should know when it's their turn and how to present online so there are no hiccups the day of the event. We will provide guidelines and tips on virtual presentation, lighting, internet connectivity, etc., to provide the best possible experience to the organizer, the speaker, as well as the audience.
That's wonderful. Thanks, Andrea. Okay, let's move on to the next question. The sample agendas you showed all start the Catalyst at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Is that flexible? Well, actually, we have a couple of questions asking
Mhm.
about flexibility of the Catalyst conference. Could you elaborate on that?
Yeah, let me start with the time zones because that's a discussion that comes up more and more. And, being inclusive, allowing attendees in other zones to participate. The short answer is yes. Start times are flexible depending on your location as the organizer, the location of your speakers, and maybe even your audience. We found that an early afternoon time allows participation from the Americas as well as Europe, with the recommended breaks that you saw in the agenda falling over meal times in those respective geographic regions. However, that's certainly not set in stone. We have accommodated virtual meetings on UK time, which meant for us, for that particular meeting, a 5 a.m. start time in DC, and trust me, a lot of coffee for our team, and a 2 a.m. start time on the West Coast. It worked well, as a good number of speakers were from Europe and Eurasia, and we still had very strong participation from the Americas. So if you're looking to accommodate, again, your speakers or maybe a certain audience, let's talk about that starting time. 1 p.m. is a suggestions we made for the Catalyst conferences starting out.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Andrea. There were two questions about networking events. Is networking event required? And can we have an optional happy hour at the end? Could you share on that?
Yeah, let me roll back to the entry level catalysts. There it is. Just so we have the draft agenda in front of everyone once more. You can see here we accounted for some time toward the end of the day or program for informal discussions. These can take place as guided discussions, smaller breakouts around certain topics, perhaps a happy hour or other networking activities. I think a lot will depend on the size of your group. Though traditionally we anticipate a bit of a drop in attendance when the program heads into a social hour, we can make some suggestions to you in designing that part of the program. It's not required to answer you with a short response. It's not required, but we do hear from scientists over and over that what makes these types of programs strong and special is the personal relationship building. And that's accomplished during the networking portions outside the official presentation time.
Great, that's good to know. Thank you, Andrea. Okay, let's move on to the next question. There were a couple of people asking, are students qualified to start a Catalyst conference?
Okay. Yes, please. Catalyst conferences are that great opportunity for young career scientists to gain experience in organizing. As I previously mentioned, Catalyst conferences can be a training ground for the next generation organizers or even seasoned scientists looking for a new challenge. While going through the levels, students may consider a mentor as they advance to the higher stages if they feel they need that additional assistance before making the jump to a full-fledged conference. We've seen that work quite well in past.
That's wonderful, thank you. The next question is about communication. Will FASEB help with communicating with speakers, such as sending out invitations, confirmation, and speaker instructions?
Mm-hmm. We'll be happy to send out invitations, speaker confirmation, and I believe you mentioned instructions on behalf of the organizers. In the traditional setting, the organizer does that soft touch, the initial invitation to the speaker to establish that relationship. But if you as the organizer would like us to provide, to do that invitation on your behalf, just send us the name of the speakers and we'll be happy to do that for you.
Great, thank you, Andrea. The next question, let me see. This sounds very grassroots. Why should I do this through FASEB? Sounds like I can set this up myself.
Yes, it's certainly true that new communities can quickly form in a virtual environment. We've heard from quite some groups that were unable to meet in 2020 due to the pandemic, that they put together a quick Zoom meeting for its base to connect. the way I want to answer this question is more what FASEB can bring to the table, and what we can support you in is the team experience in virtual meeting planning, the marketing, the grants management, to give you that reach and infrastructure to succeed right out of the gate. With our expertise, all you need to worry about is the science, without setting up and checking the capacity on a free Zoom license, training your speakers in remote participation, maybe advising them on that ideal internet connectivity they need to really present, or managing the technology. Also, FASEB's reach and recognition will provide some immediate exposure and visibility for your conference in the larger scientific community. So I hope that answers that question.
Great, thank you, Andrea. I'm glad we received so many great questions. The next one is, you mentioned we can invite 5 speakers from entry-level Catalyst.
Mm-hmm.
Can we invite more than 5? Is there a limit on the number of speakers?
Yeah, so similar to the answer to the question about networking, the agenda is super flexible, and we certainly can explore more speakers on the agenda. But remember that these conferences run live, so every speaker transition adds a bit of complexity and comes with its own risk of connection quality issues and maybe concerns. It may be also more challenging keeping speakers on schedule, but of course the session chair would keep an eye on that. So I would say yes, we can be absolutely flexible with the number of speakers. We just didn't want to set the level of expectations too high in the beginning and possibly deter organizers that are just starting out.
Great, that's good to know. Thanks, Andrea. Let's move to the next question. Let's see. If I start an entry-level Catalyst conference, is meeting 100 attendees the only requirement for us to move up to the advanced level?
That's the threshold, attracting 100 attendees. And we ask for that threshold before phase 2. But once again, these levels are here to provide a growth opportunity. So if you already have some experience in organizing, you have a topic with a community, and you think you can slip right in at the advanced level, let's talk and see how we can make this happen. Just reach out.
Great. Next question. Can I have a co-organizer for my Catalyst conference?
Sure. You can certainly have a co-organizer. Without additional responsibility that come along with a longer program, most scientists we've been talking to about this program feel comfortable not needing a co-organizer. However, this too is completely up to you. Ying, I don't want to cut the discussion short, but I did promise to keep it to a crisp 30 minutes today. So I would ask, I know you're monitoring the questions, if you could compile a list of questions for me and let me know the names of the individuals that reached out, then I'll try to get back to them via email. Would that work?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Wonderful. So as we've reached that end of our time today, I would like to thank all of you for logging in. We hope we have piqued your interest and are happy to continue the conversation with you one-on-one. And I promise to get back to all of your questions that we couldn't get to today. You can reach me at meetings@faseb.org with any follow-up questions or get started on your first Catalyst. We will follow up with you with a link of this recording and additional conference materials in just a few moments. Thank you for your time today, and stay healthy, everyone.